Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about IVF as an event, as a phenomenon that creates certain desires that then attaches women to different identities. So for example, radical feminists sees the patriarchy as a source of different forms of oppressions, and in that sense IVF could be seen as being oppressive towards women, so men exercising power over women. On the other hand, Jana Sawicki, who's a professor of philosophy, she has also used the feminist approach, but her approach is much more positive and less aggressive. So Jana Sawicki, she's actually using the concept of biopower, which is the Foucauldian concept. So biopower, in like really short way, can be explained as a source of many different techniques of achieving control over individual bodies and also populations. In context of biopower, the power is not being exercised openly over someone else's freedoms, but it emerges through disciplinary practices over individual bodies and through regulatory practices over populations. So in concept of IVF, Sawicki, she's using the term of disciplinary practices over individual bodies. So Sawicki, she argues that IVF should not be understood as combination of different disciplinary practices that limit someone else's freedoms, but more of a combination of different disciplinary practices that create certain desires of person. So in this case, perhaps IVF creates this desire of achieving pregnancy through artificial reproductive technologies, and that in turn then also attaches women to certain identities. So here when I'm saying identities, they could be identities maybe of eligible patient or maybe identity of mother. So it could be actually many different examples. And at the same time, those identities, they're gonna be attached to certain norms against which the person's gonna be judged or examined, and against which the person will police themselves as well. So if we take the example of IVF creating desire of pregnancy through artificial reproductive technologies, then that creates perhaps one of the identities as an eligible patient. And the norm here, it will be that woman perhaps will have to be in a certain age, she will have to be a certain weight, and her health will have to be in certain condition. And there are going to be perhaps so many other guidelines that a woman, she will have to follow in order to fall into that narrow way of being as eligible patient. So she's gonna be judged against our norms. So she's gonna be checked on many times. Her weight's gonna be checked. There are gonna be so many tests that she will have to go through in order to classify to become eligible patient. And at the same time, she's gonna be also policing her own body in order to fall into those categories. And then what that does as well, if someone doesn't fall in this narrow way of being as eligible patient, then that perhaps then becomes as something abnormal, as something not acceptable. So by attaching women to the specific identity, most of the attention is on the woman, specifically on her body. So most of the examination, tests and checks is done on woman's body. And in case the treatment doesn't work, then perhaps the woman's body is at fault. So that kind of approach perhaps creates the environment where perhaps most of the blame can actually be put on women if the treatment doesn't work, because most of the responsibility seems to be put on women, on woman's body. So that blame perhaps sometimes might not actually be even expressed directly. It just might be, remarks as next time maybe you could eat more healthy, or maybe you should have tried, eating this, or maybe next time do this differently. That itself, it is a position woman as the one who's most responsible, and as well as the one who can be blamed if the treatment doesn't work. So perhaps for a woman to undergo the treatment within circumstances like that, it just creates really, I would say, a hostile environment where she can be more prone to, depression, anxiety, stress, self-blame and guilt. So possibly being able to develop an environment where the responsibility for fertility, for the success of a fertility treatment is split between woman, maybe her partner, and maybe the medics working in a fertility clinic, will create an environment where perhaps she wouldn't feel as much responsible, and therefore as well she wouldn't perhaps feel as guilty in a case if the treatment doesn't work. Yeah, I hope you enjoy watching this video, and if you are interested in watching more videos related to infertility or mental health in general, then just yeah, visit my channel for more videos. Thank you. Bye.